Bear with me one moment. Looks like you're good to go, Madam President. It's up to you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I will call the meeting to order today at 6:35 your time, 2:35 my time, of the Waukegan Public Library Board of Trustees meeting, Wednesday, December the 16th, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. So with that, let's take a roll call. Brian,
Here.
Josue,
Here.
Rob,
Here.
Larry,
Here.
Jeannie,
Here.
Tatiana,
Here.
I don't see Martha, or Shatara's not going to be here until January, so she's going to be absent. So right now, the only person that is not here is Martha. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. 1 second here. Okay, so I will need a motion for the minutes. Let's see, I'm sorry. There is no public comment tonight, so now I need a motion for the agenda.
A motion to approve the agenda of the Waukegan Public Library Board of Trustees meeting on Wednesday, December 16th, 2020.
I second.
Thank you.
I
And
second.
thank you, Larry. Okay, roll call. Brian,
Yes.
Josue,
Yes.
Rob,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
Jeannie?
Yeah.
Tatiana?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a quorum, and it looks like the agenda passed. And now for the minutes.
I make
Get
a
a motion.
motion to approve the minutes of the Waukegan Public Library dated November 18th, 2020 for that meeting.
I'll second
Okay.
that.
And who is that?
Josue?
Josue. Okay, thank you. All right, roll call then. Brian,
Yes.
Josue,
Yes.
Rob,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
Jeannie,
Yes.
Tatiana?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. So now let's move to the Finance Committee. And we'll give Larry the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, well, we did meet tonight, our finance meeting committee, and we did review several items here. The first item we reviewed is the summary of the actual versus budgeted results for the 7th-month period ending November 30th of 2020 for our Waukegan Public Library. And Anna did a very good job of explaining this to us. Anna, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Very good. Could you summarize for the board this document here that we have before us in our packet?
Yes, this document is the 7-month end budget versus actual. And in the revenue section, of course, our biggest portion of the revenue is real estate tax. And right now we're at 95% at the end of November. I don't expect we will get much more real estate tax. Today we did receive 70,000, but I think from now on it's probably not going to be much that we will receive because the last tax payment was due the beginning of November. This is 7 months into our fiscal year, so we should be about 58% of our budget. And with other items, we're in pretty good shape. We're around there. We're under. Of course, the one line item that we are over is repair and maintenance. That's because all the COVID expenses are coded into repair and maintenance. It does have a separate class, but it's under the category of repair and maintenance for COVID expenses. And a lot of it is, like cleaning equipment, masks, the things that we have to do to keep our patron employees safe. But besides that, that's a little over, but we're in very good shape as of November 30th.
Very good. Thank you, Anna. Are there any questions about this summary of actual versus budgeted results for the period ending November 30th of 2020? Anyone, any questions or comments? Okay, very good. Hearing nothing more on that, then the next item here is that we reviewed at our finance meeting is the Waukegan Public Library monthly board check detail for November of 2020. And we did look at that and those disbursements for November 2020, and everything appeared to be appropriate. Several questions were raised on several expenditures, but everything was well explained. So to my satisfaction, appeared to be to the members of the Finance Committee's satisfaction too. And a motion was made at that meeting and approved and seconded and passed to present this to our board tonight for approval. So before we go there, are there any comments from our board members about the expenditures disbursements for November of 2020?
Larry, could I break in real quick?
Yes.
And let's, if we can get a motion to bring Martha into the meeting.
Oh, yes, I would move to seat Martha into our board meeting this evening.
Second.
Okay, second by Jeannie. Okay, so Brian,
Yes.
Josue,
Yes.
Rob,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
Jeannie,
Yes.
Tatiana.
Yes.
Okay, Martha is in our meeting now, so we definitely have a quorum. Thank you. All right, continue, Larry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Very good. All right. Yes. So yeah, we were just at the point where I had asked if anyone, if our board members here had any comments about questions about our disbursements for November 2020 as detailed here in our monthly board check detail for November 2020. I see. Very good. Okay. Well, hearing nothing more, do we have a motion then to approve the monthly disbursements for the Waukegan Public Library for November of 2020?
I move that we accept the report coming from the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Jean. And is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Josue.
Josue. Okay.
That was Josue, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so we have a motion and it's been properly seconded. All in favor, Brian,
Yes.
Josue,
Yes.
Robbie,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
Jeannie,
Yes.
Tatiana,
Aye.
Martha,
Aye.
and I for myself. Motion carried. I will accept the finance report as written. Okay, so let's move on to the acting executive director's report with John.
Madam President, excuse me. Thank you everyone for being here. A big happy holidays to all of you and your families. Sent an email today at 2:17 p.m. with more detail about this. I'll keep it short for the sake of brevity. I broke it down by committees to begin with. So Finance Committee, we need to have some budget discussions in the month of January. So I wanted to invite board members to reach out to both Anna and myself to be a part of that. Anna, myself, and Gail to be a part of the discussion of what the budget looks like in the fiscal 22. So do reach out. I wanted to reach out to the development committee. We have now waukeganpl.org/board. It is our central page, our webpage, our intranet for our board members. And so more will be added, including the form that Rob has created on Google. We've ported it over to Microsoft Forms. So hopefully it will be a one-stop shop for all trustees and their information needs. That's exciting and good news. I wanted to make a recommendation based on some of the discussions we've had around the Ray Bradbury collection, that we bring this back a notch to the staff and the attorney, Douglas Durando, to try and negotiate with the Parks and Historical Society, and while in the process, writing policy in the background to support the long-term loan and the Bradbury policy. So one thing that I'd like to add to that board page is a copy of our policy review schedule that's updated with the new policies we passed in September, and make sure that everything is accurate and up to date. And in terms of board training, I'm excited to be able to work with each of you. Thank you so very much to all of you who have taken the time to speak with me over these past couple months. I look forward to reaching out, talking to each of you that I haven't spoken with yet, and to reiterate that this isn't a one and done. Let's keep talking. Let's keep the communication going. And I hope to provide some training in the month of January, February, and March to the trustees with the help of the development committee. So doing some form of board development in the new year, starting a new year with new intentions, and making sure that we're properly bringing our board members up to knowledgeable working board members. So there are no questions and there's no confusion anymore. I want to try and work with the board very closely. So let's work on that and help to see a great new year. In terms of operations, we've got Anna working on procedure, internal controls procedure. Susan has been appointed as our HR coordinator. So in terms of working with the city, Susan will liaise with Tamika's people, and that way any of our HR needs will be met. In terms of the maintenance, the building is looking great. We have some beautiful wreaths up thanks to the Rotary Club of Waukegan and former director Richard Lee, sorting us out with the beautiful wreaths. The library building has a new pump in the basement, should be done by now. So Wendrick White was the company that you approved to do this repair downstairs, and our backup pump is now fixed. There are a lot of exciting talks with the leadership team about expanding our services in the month of January, but I won't steal Gail's thunder. I will move on to IT. As you saw in the check register, that we had a bigger than normal charge, but this is a one-time deal. We had to migrate from Microsoft on the desktops to Microsoft 365 in the cloud, and that took some time. But overall, we'll see a savings to the taxpayer of roughly $3,000 a year by moving to the cloud versus doing it on our own and our own servers. So good job to Isaac and making that happen in such an expedient manner with Keith, the IT connection. They did a really great job. And I think not only do we get email, but we get all these great bells and whistles that we get to use and we're using now in terms of virtual meetings and SharePoint and things like Microsoft Teams. It's been really beneficial for our group to be able to branch out and be more asynchronous if necessary, because a lot of people still working from home, a lot of people still working from the building, including our collection management team, customer service and inventory, all working very hard to bring new materials into the library, especially new ebooks. So that's really exciting. We have some, hopefully, maybe some joining of a consortium in the new year to be able to expand broadly our collection of e-materials, ebooks. The customer service team has been carrying the load in terms of providing the curbside process. So they've really done an outstanding job of being the face that the public meets. And we're working on expanding out to include things like printing, faxing, scanning, and they're doing it now on occasion when someone comes up and says, hey, I need this photocopied, we make them for them. So we're making exceptions now, but we're working on a more formalized process for the new year. So as I said, Gail and her thunder, I don't want to steal it. So she's been doing an outstanding job working with our services team. Education Literacy Services is rocking it. Reference department and children's departments are doing a great job of creating content and programming online. I'm tickled pink to work. Some look at a pandemic as a problem or a bad thing, but I also see the positives that have come out of this. And I see that our organization will survive no matter what. And I know that we are going to adapt as best we can. So our team has done a really great job at adapting and forging new relationships. And so anyhow, that's about all I had for my director's report. I'm happy to answer your question, Josue.
Any questions of John? Okay, well, thank you very much, John, for your report. And I just have one quick question. So for the board to get more information on how to access the information that's all in one spot now, you'll send that out to us?
Yes, ma'am. I sent out just a few moments ago the trustee password because I didn't want to send it in the
okay.
same email. So the password is shared with you too. Go ahead and poke
Okay.
around in there and make any suggestions you might have. And more will be coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have
Thank
one
you very
question
much.
real quick, Madam Chair. In terms of our library website, I've noticed I noticed recently where there had been a location on our website, our library website, where you could view the trustees of the Waukegan Public Library. And actually, I need to still get a biography in there. But anyway, last I looked, it had disappeared. It was just listed all of our trustees, and had a picture of us and a little write-up about us. So like a little biographical statement about us. And I had seen it, and then I had not seen it. So is that part of this rehabbing kind of a situation, or what? I'm just curious what happened to it.
So if I may, sending in the chat right now, this is the library's website for Board of Trustees. It is under About. So if you hover over About and then go down to Board of Trustees on our main page, it will bring you to the Board of Trustees page. And we just briefly share. Yeah, there are some board members that don't have bios. And so that's what Rob had
Right.
mentioned, that we have an easier way to fill out those bios. So, and if you ever want to update that stuff, just let us know. But the link in the chat is the library public facing page for the Library Board of Trustees, including.
And the
Okay.
pictures and biographies are still there.
Yes.
Oh, they are. Oh, okay.
There's some that are missing because there's new people and it hasn't been fully updated.
So then, how would I
Okay.
get a copy of that link to put in my biography?
And email it to you?
That would be fine. Please do, and then I can work on that.
We'll be communicating out for more information about the trustee page, and on that page will be the form that you click the link. So there will be a link on. I would encourage you to poke around in the trustee page link that I shared with you via my director's report, and log in with the password I sent just a few moments ago, about an hour ago, and then that's where you'll find the bio. So you can click a link and fill out your bio. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Larry. Okay. Anyone else with questions? If there's no further questions, then we will give the floor to Gail so she can give her report.
Good evening. Good to see everyone. So I wanted to start out with our marketing services. Please expect a new newsletter at the beginning of the year. Karina has worked very hard along with Jennifer and the entire staff, pulling together all information to start out the first quarter in the new year. Featured in that new newsletter will be our services and offerings for Black History Month. As one of you just mentioned, we are doing the website audit to increase the utilization of our website and ease of use. We are also working, as John had mentioned, prepping for the expansion of on-site services for mid-January. So right now we are piloting or testing out a walk-up and print. So people can walk up or come to the library door, not inside, and print materials and pick them up, or print them from home and pick them up in curbside. As you know, the ability to print in Waukegan is extremely limited for a general public, so that was something we really wanted to bring back. And in January, we plan to offer print services, fax and copying. So you can either request it from home or send it in and pick it up through curbside. So Karina's working on the marketing of that, and the team is working on all those processes. In addition, in the children's department, they have currently going a children's writing contest for 3rd to 8th graders, and the idea is to submit a fiction story. There's guidance videos posted every Tuesday this month on Facebook and website, and the due date for all submissions for children would be the end of December 31st. They're also working on doing a refresh of the early reader collection, introducing a new leveling system, providing more information to patrons about the books and the reading, really wanting to support our community and our children in building their literacy skills and seeing their numbers rise when they're in school in terms of reading at grade level. And in the last 6 months, the children's staff has produced and posted over 160 videos comprised of story times, crafts, trivia, geography, culture, and writing. The reference team in adults has been really busy. They are reporting that they're already having patrons come in and use the walk-up printing or laptop service, as well as ordering things to pick up through curbside. They are planning a one book, one community for next May, but starting the process of developing that program now. And Gabriel and one of the staff in my education and literacy services, they're working on a small business video project to feature a video about a local small business. And they're collaborating with the local business center at CLC. In terms of health literacy, we have been funded again. This will be our 6th year for the Functional Health Literacy Program. And with the current funding, we will be able to continue to expand that program. We are currently working under the CARES Act on telehub services, bringing mental health services to the computer and using our community health workers to help the community member accept mental health services as well as learn how to use the computer to access those services. And we're also doing more COVID education in the community with Mano a Mano. Tutoring and conversational ESL is plugging along. We're continuing to deliver all of those services virtually using volunteer tutors, coaches, and our AmeriCorps person who has trained and served her entire part virtually so far. Digital literacy is continuing to engage with partners. We are having new opportunities presented to us. Kim has been able to speak at some different regional events or conferences just about what is going on with digital literacy. And the main question is, how do we do what we do for free? We're increasing our offerings to parents in the school district. In January, we'll be offering Excel and PowerPoint. And we're starting to develop the program because we did receive our funding for the 100 laptops and hotspots that will be given one-to-one as people complete a digital literacy class. Each person will be able to receive and keep a computer with a warranty as well as a hotspot. And from that grant, we will also start to build our first 25 laptops and hotspots that can be loaned out. So that'll be a nice project for the beginning of the year. And lastly, we've been invited as the Waukegan Public Library to apply for a special grant under the Healthcare Foundation of Northern Illinois to lead a project similar to the census concept, where we would be the lead and working with other community-based organizations, improving the community's understanding of COVID-19 and the vaccine.
Thank you. Very, very, very thorough. Any questions of Gail?
I have a question regarding a service. Is the library still available for notary services?
People can call and ask for notary. That's one of the things that we're bringing back with this sort of face-to-face walk up and notarize. So we do have a Spanish-speaking notary and an English-speaking notary that would be available to help someone. And we'll be able to expand that a little bit more in January.
Is there a way that we can market that a little more? I've seen a lot of questions about notary services because people have been circulating petitions for the upcoming elections.
So coming in January, it will be a big marketing push, introducing how to walk up or how to do this from your home and pick up your materials curbside, or how to access our notary services. Right now, we're just piloting it because we do understand with the end of the year, there's a lot of need for notary services, but we don't want to be overwhelmed because we only have 2 people. And the worst thing is to have a lot of people come and have to turn them away.
Okay.
So we're
thank
kind
you.
of, managing it best we can with the resources that we have.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Have you thought about, oh, I have to say, OMG, all the things that you just told us that you're working on is like, I got brain freeze like in part of it, okay? Fantastic. Okay, with the just like at consumers, you have to make an appointment. Have you thought about that, where the people sign up for an online appointment and then you would be able to space them out? And also, then the people could say, you know what, I'm an appointment, and that's why I went there, and I know that for sure the notary is going to be there. Have you thought about that?
Yes, we did that for the few weeks recently that we were open with our face-to-face, when people could come in the building by appointment. They could make special appointments with the notary, and they could still call in and ask for appointments. That's not a problem. Or if someone walks out. But again, we have two people, one that speaks Spanish and the other one
Right.
speaks English, and they only work 37.5 hours a week. So the worst thing, and we did have it happen where someone came in and they were really disappointed that they couldn't access the service. So we'll be better prepared to really push and blossom this out a bit more come January.
Okay, and then the other thing, haven't had COVID, and it was like, OMG. Have you thought about, you were talking about the COVID, is there like a group through, have you thought about like through Lake County Health Department where they would give like, kind of like maybe they could offer their services to like do a weekly chat, or like maybe do a weekly video where people can just like sign in, or like just access it from the Waukegan Public Library regarding like I found now post COVID, like you think you came out negative, okay, so you think you're over with it, and you surely are not, okay? And so maybe like something for preventing COVID, but also like a post COVID, kind of like videos, or like something that the Lake County Health Department could do.
So absolutely. That in part is part of that $1 million COVID work or grant that I've always talked about. Manny, who is our functional health literacy coordinator, has been working with other communities. He's in the education team. He's the lead on the education team. So we have been producing a lot of videos around COVID, mainly in Spanish, and some are bilingual, and we'll be introducing more English videos soon. I'm the co-chair of the African American Community Partnership Group, and we've been doing a lot of work around depression and anxiety, all those other impacts of COVID, and shared through social media. So we will be continuing in 2021 to
then, right? You kind of have something already?
We have something already, and with this new grant, we'll be able to do more. And then we'll market it more, so more people will take advantage of it because we'll have more resources.
Okay, because what I found was that, so like I did my testing somewhere else. I didn't do it in Illinois, so I did it in Wisconsin, so I couldn't get everything. So then the only reason I found out was to call in, because I found out that depends on where you go, is the Lake County Health Department gets a result. I didn't know that, but since my friend works there, then she told me who to call. And then when I went to Waukegan, I didn't know it was open on Sundays. Then they sent me a letter, saying, that you're negative, and no one called me back on that one. But
so
then,
the different sites are run by different people. So you're absolutely right. Lake County Health Department sites will call. Other sites will either email, some even text. So it's really important when a person goes to get their COVID test to know who the provider is. And the provider is the one that will follow up with the person. And so that's something that we're really trying to educate people on, because you're absolutely right. It's very frustrating.
Excuse me. Can I say, I had COVID also, and the health department, if you refuse to get daily conversation or emails from them, you will not get a letter at the end of your 14 days. I experienced that. You have to go through the tracing process. If you don't want to have them call you or contact you, you don't get a letter saying that you've completed the process and that you have completed your 14 days.
Okay, so is there anything on Any other services? Gil, I mean, if you all have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to Gil. And Gil, will you put your contact information on our chat so that they'll know how to get in touch with you to share?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, so with that, Josue, do you have a committee report for governance? Thank you, Gail. I'm sorry.
The governance committee, they meet in December. Some of the members were out of town or sick.
Okay. So you have no report. And then moving down to my report. First of all, I just want to thank the Waukegan Public Library staff for staying the course and staying as safe as possible, what they do every day. I also want to say that we did have a meeting for the executive search committee, and that we are in the process of sending our RFPs out to different consulting firms. So that's what we did for that meeting. And other than that, I just want to say happy holidays to everybody. And that's my report. So moving right along to new business, John, you want to tell us about the Communico quote and then the Priority One contract?
Absolutely. So, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. So with being a member of Rails, we have an option of getting in with Communico. We currently have, I guess for a little context, we have several of these services that we're using piecemeal in other facets. For example, LibCal, our calendaring software, handles all of our scheduling of meeting rooms and so forth. We have no app at the present moment. Communico is another thing that they can give us an app. Another thing that Communico would allow us to do would be allowing patrons to check materials out, even using the NFC scanner on their phone to desensitize the materials, so on and so forth. There's a lot of things that Communico can do. The fourth thing is giving us a repository, a central repository for the printables that we currently use, and it would coordinate with our website. So a lot of this has to do with pieces that fall into place. We're currently paying roughly $24,000 a year for texting service and a service that we don't really use called Decision Center through our current vendor, Innovative. They're the ones who do our catalog. We have for years paid this fee and not used the service. And so I put them to task. Isaac and I met with the folks from one of the other vendors to see if they might be able to post a quote for what it would cost to get an app, but that's just for the app. What Communico really is, and honestly, I mean, in terms of business, we've given our company that we currently work with plenty of opportunities to reconcile. I cannot justify spending $24,000 of the taxpayers' dollars every year on things that we don't use. And so for the cost of $15,000 a year, it would give us an app. It would give us access to allowing patrons to circulate materials for themselves. And again, coordinate with our website redesign or update that we're currently working on. The tricky bit is, again, we can wait. It takes about 12 weeks to implement a new service like Communico. We were told in the communication we had with Innovative, the company that does our catalog, it would take about 8 weeks to get an app. What I'd like to do is get moving on this and thank Innovative, the company that we were doing business with, for their service, but no longer like to pay $24,000 a year for things that we don't use. We can wait. We can bring back to the January meeting, and I can propose a couple of options, possibly if they get the information to us. But I think at this point we've waited plenty of time, and this is a viable option that helps us with several things that we're doing at the library currently. And it has a very virtual centerpiece that basically does all the scheduling that we would do would be for virtual appointments. The training that they're currently conducting through Communico helps us to learn how to navigate this new normal in a way that kind of ties all these different pieces together. Oh, and I did mention it gives us an app that is the Waukegan Public Library app, which is something that would allow us to read ebooks, audiobooks, all in one place rather than having to download a dozen different apps to utilize our different services. And I think this is a big benefit. I don't think we should wait. I believe if I can get your support that we should move forward on this because we've waited for several years worth of $24,000 a year, and it's time. So I just want to propose that by not paying one of the facets of the bill, we can afford this and save money. I just wanted to throw that out there. If you don't want to take action tonight, that is perfectly okay. I know the board wants information to be able to mull it over, so I'm willing to wait till January, but I will be bringing this back in January for a final decision if you'd like to wait. And that is all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions.
So, okay, before we start with the questions, hold on. We do need to put a motion on the floor. So if we put a motion on the floor, then we can go to questions. So if you would like to make a motion to accept this proposal for Communico, then if you put that on the floor, then we can go to the questions. But if it's not on the floor, we're not going to entertain questions.
I make a motion to put Communico on the floor.
I'll second.
So you have to make a motion to accept his proposal as given.
I make a motion to accept John's proposal as given for Communico, to discuss Communico.
I'll second.
And second by Brian. Okay, so at this point, let's go into questions. So Martha, you have a question?
Yes, my question is, I go a lot to Gurney just because sometimes before to use the rooms over there because they had more rooms available, you know, the study rooms. But I noticed that they have outside where they have kind of like Amazon lockers where the people just walk up and they can get books or whatever that they reserve. So I want to ask you, does this include something like that where people could just scan with their, like a QR or something like that on their phone to release the locker for them to access the books that they put on reserve?
It would indeed. It currently has the ability to keep your library card in the app, in the Waukegan Public Library app. Right now, you have to download a third-party app to put your library card into, but essentially what it does is gives access to a barcode or QR code. Those lockers are a different story. Those are pretty pricey, but also something worthy of consideration that was recommended by Isaac in IT and echoed by a few different managers.
Okay, and then my second question would be, in order to ensure that that not just anyone is using, you know, like coming up with a QR, then maybe in the future, maybe could they add like a little picture to it? So then what later on when the library is open and someone walks up with the QR to check out their books, maybe in the future this could be used instead of the library card, but it would have their picture on it?
I'm not for certain what the app will actually entail, but most apps now that are designed, they give you the ability to upload your own photograph. So
Okay.
I have a feeling that would be a part of it. I'm still yet to see what the app actually looks like, but it would be catered to our patrons and our users.
Okay, and then the third question would be, is also if this could also be used on the library computers, you know, to sign in and sign out, because, you know, like a lot of people have problems with that little paper and putting their, you know, their number from the back of their library card, you know, typing it into the computer.
I don't know, but I'll get back to you on that one, Martha.
All right, thank you.
May I ask a question? John, concerning the $24,000, is that only that section of the bill, or is that's only for texting abilities that we're paying $24,000?
Texting itself was about 12,000, and then Decision Center was about 11,000 something
And
change.
we would be eliminating Decision Center altogether, correct? This would be in place of? Okay, all right, thank you for clarifying.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the only service that we're going to be able to, how can I say that? Gain money from? And I'm saying this wrong, I know. Like you were saying about the ebooks. Are we now paying for the ebooks? So if it's going to be, will it still be being paid for, but being used on that app? Is that what you're saying?
Correct. We wouldn't change the ebooks. So basically, this just gives easy access to make reservations in one of our spaces or reservations with one of our staff members for Notary, for example. You go on the app, you look for open appointments, you make an appointment for a time, and it sends them an email. It coordinates. Now, we currently have with LibCal the ability to do some of this, but it's been poorly adopted. We didn't really it doesn't run with it. And we've been doing a lot of our scheduling and so forth on paper. Since we're not using LibCal anyway, I think it makes sense to just move to a new platform and get something that's all encompassing.
Thank you.
I have a comment more than a question. So I was obviously really intrigued by the app idea, and then seeing the price tag on it, I wanted to know more. So I put a link in the chat there. There's a PDF of a presentation that you can see. So you can see like the interface and pretty much how customizable it is. So a lot of the questions we've been asking, like we can do these things in terms of like, we can post events, we can have people sign up for things, you can put your library card in there. And I know for myself, like with my public library card with Waukegan, I think I have like 2 different apps to try to read ebooks. And it's a lot of trying to, juggle things around. And I think that having the streamlined app where it's not just for reading books, but there's other content people can benefit from, I think it's a no-brainer. And after hearing that we were paying, $24,000 for a service that's really not being utilized, and then this one here is cheaper than that, I think that this is a really good move for the library for us to do.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor, and that's to accept John's proposal as given. It was made by, let's see, the motion was made by Martha and second by Brian. So let's go for a roll call. I'm sorry, let's go for a vote. And with that, Brian, yes or
Yes.
no? Josue,
Yes.
Rob,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
Jeannie,
Yes.
Tatiana,
Yes.
Martha,
Yes.
and I'm saying yes also. So the motion carried. And John, you can go forward with the proposal that you gave us for Communico. And thank you for reaching out and getting that information for us.
I have one
Okay,
more
and then
question before we move on.
Is it concerning Communico?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to grant you this. Go right ahead.
I just want to know when does the other contract end and then this one start?
So
We
LibCal
approved it.
was up for payment about a month ago, and we were holding, but I couldn't wait any longer. So we're going to have to run LibCal, which is our calendaring software concurrent. But with Innovative, the company that we're currently, the former executive director had split some of these bills out already because they were suspect that we were paying for something we weren't using. So basically, we're all paid up except for this piece of that bill. And again, this decision makes it a lot easier to tell them that we're no longer interested in paying for something we don't use.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Josue. Great question. So with that, you want to go ahead and talk to us a little bit about priority 1, John?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, thank you. The company that we are currently contracted with to assist with deep cleans, and we still have them coming in once a week on a Saturday evening to do a deep clean and hit all the surfaces really well. This company it's a Waukegan-based company run by Greg Hitzman. They've been a decent company to work with and very flexible in helping out. They even send people if we need an additional deep clean. But up until this point, I've presented you with one contract, once a month at a time. At this point, because we are short in the maintenance department, a janitor, we need some assistance. This basically just means that we don't have to talk about it again. We have them on basically retainer for the next year. And then part of the contract does state that if we're not happy or if we want to get out for any reason, we can always exit the contract when we're ready. And this has gone to Douglas for review, and he's given his seal of approval. It's not perfect, but it's workable. It's doable, considering the circumstances. Madam President, you are muted.
Just to clarify it, so you're saying that we want to bring them in for additional, other than the once a week?
No, ma'am, just to continue to basically put them on a year-long contract rather than a month-to-month. This is basically, because it's bigger than the $10,000 threshold, I want to make sure we gain approval of the whole board, because over a year, $11.25 a month, it's greater than 10.
So at some point, either our janitors are going to come back or we're going to rehire janitors. So have you thought about what the difference would be? I mean, if we were able to hire, our janitors back versus having the company come in and do cleaning all year long. I mean, this is just for clarity.
Yes, and it would be more advantageous. We're currently working with Express personnel. The city, Tamika at the city put us in contact with someone at Express to do temp agency so we can do some temp to hire. We tried Matthews and they didn't send us anybody, didn't even call. So we didn't really hear back assistance, but we really needed people quick because we're down a person. And during a pandemic, we certainly needed the cleaning. Now that we've been closed to the public, it hasn't been as hectic, but I think as we start to expand services in January, we're certainly going to need some assistance.
Okay.
And John, did I hear you say, sorry, Josue. Did I hear you say that if we did hire people, we would be able to say we don't need your services anymore?
Correct.
So that's if we, so let me just back up. Could we put a motion on the floor before we continue with the discussion? So we need a motion to accept John's proposal to bring priority one on a contract for the whole year versus a month-by-month contract. So can we get a motion? So do I hear that we don't have a motion?
Sylvia.
Okay, so Jeannie is making the motion and we just need a second.
I'll second.
And Larry is second. Okay, now let's go into discussion. So the motion on the floor is that we hire priority one with a contract for the entire year. So questions. Larry, you have a question?
So basically they're already here doing our work for us, and we're just making it a year versus month to month. Do we get any savings by doing a year versus month to month? Just curious.
Well, the original bids that they sent us were for about $1,300 a month. So I believe that the priority one has been doing us what would be considered a solid and given us this rate $11.25, because the original contract was for a greater amount. But yes.
Okay, I have nothing further. No.
Jeannie, you have a question?
Not really a question. I guess I just want to say, it's for a year only if we need the year is what the contract is reading. It's not for the year. It's only until we decide we're going to hire people, or because I mean it could be for 4 months, because we could hire somebody after 4 months and that contract will be gone.
That is true.
I mean, if we're going to enter into a contract that we're not anticipating to run the full year, then I think that, we may want to talk to them a little bit about the termination clause, because right now, and I'm getting into the weeds a little bit, so I apologize. It does allow either party to terminate with 30 days notice, but it's not clear whether that's a no fault termination or if there has to be cause.
I have a question. So we're having trouble hiring someone for janitorial services internally, like just on our staff.
Well, yes. I mean, we don't typically make movements and change people from job roles to another. There are no positions open. There were no positions open. We had held this position open for a very long time, but really we needed the help. And I think it'll be quicker to have temps and or the service contract company to help us carry through until we can get some people hired. By my experience, it takes upwards of about 3 months to properly work the hiring process.
So are we hoping that in 3 months we have someone hired?
Yes.
May I? Madam President, you're muted.
So John, is it possible for you to get clarification on the termination? You know, if we decide to move on and do something different?
Well, the verbatim, the service contract may be terminated by either party by giving written 30-day notice of cancellation by certified mail. So as Douglas said, there, it really doesn't say like if we're not happy with the service, we or they're not happy. As far as I understand it, there's no fault,
doesn't
but
matter.
it becomes a little
John
bit
and I can
hairy.
clarify that offline, I think.
If I may, I wonder if we're currently seeking to employ somebody, why we would enter from a month-to-month contract to a year contract. I understand that we can terminate at any point, but if we're talking 3 more months going month to month, you said we're at a higher dollar amount, 13 something right now?
No, it's lesser. It was lesser than the original quote. And again, I think when we were out, when somebody on the janitorial staff was out long-term, and then somebody on our janitorial staff had a case of COVID in their house and they were out, that left us with 1 janitor. And that without this company, I think we would have faltered. It put a lot of work and strain on Chuck and Francisco, for example, to carry the load of the 1 person who was out. But it certainly has helped to have somebody come in and do deep cleans when we need them done. And this basically puts them on retainers so that we can have them. And additional charge, as you saw in our check register today, there was an additional charge from the last time they came because they performed an additional deep clean for us when we shut down for the week of Thanksgiving.
Okay, thank you, John.
I want to ask
Any
a
other
question.
questions?
Yes.
Go ahead,
I have a
Martha.
question. Okay, so my question is that,
So I'm not fully.
oh, sorry. My question is that based on the financial situation and we not knowing how much more money we're going to be getting in from City of Waukegan based on reduced taxes, I am hesitant for us to sign something for a year because we don't know how long COVID's going to last as far as our schedule. And also, we don't know how much money is going to come in. That's my only reason to be hesitant about signing something for a year.
Okay, Josue, did you have an additional question?
Yeah, I just want clarification to that. I'm not fully understanding. If we do the 1-year contract, are we saving money versus a month-to-month contract?
John, can you answer that?
I mean, as far as I can tell, it's the same rate that we've been paying month to month. So it's no additional charge to get on a longer term contract. But as far as saving money, it's just been the straight $11.25 a month.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay, go ahead, Brian.
So I understand that like we were short staffed, so they were coming in to do more cleanings. But when you say deep cleaning, are they doing a different type of work that our normal staff would be doing? Like are they doing work that's more specific to COVID?
Correct. And they come in after hours and do it when no other staff are in the building. And again, have a kind of disinfectant over the weekend. And then after 2-3 days of the building sitting since a Friday, Saturday when they're in, I mean, it gives us back to a clean building. And,
Got it.
And it's certainly helpful.
Thanks.
Sorry about that. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to accept John's proposal for a 1-year contract for priority 1. With that, let's go to a vote and let's see what people think. So Brian, yes or no?
Yes.
For a 1-year contract. Josue?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Jeannie?
Yeah.
Tatiana?
No.
Martha,
No.
and let's see, and I would say no also, but it does carry with the votes. So we will offer priority one, a 1-year contract, and if something comes up in the interim, John, then you can move forward with that. So without any further ado, let's have the trustees' comments. So let's start with Brian.
So it obviously, like kind of Martha already alluded to this, a lot of the stuff that Gail was saying, like hearing all the stuff the staff is working on is always great. I'm really excited for this app that we were just talking about. I know the Waukegan Park District app has got a lot of good feedback on that and allows the community to engage with, programs and things like that. And Josue obviously is a big part of that. And so I think for the public library, this will help us as well. Again, just from my own experience of having to get different apps to read books, and it's, helping
Yes.
patrons as much as we can. I think that this is a worthwhile investment for the community, especially if we can have content in Spanish on there as well, which I'm sure, we can. So I'm really excited for that. And I know the community will be excited to see that too.
Okay, thank you. Josue.
I don't have any comments tonight.
Okay, thank you. Robbie.
Gonna
Rob.
follow. It's okay, whichever. I'm gonna go with Josue's lead, and I don't have any comments either.
Okay, thank you. Larry.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I would just like to compliment John and our staff, Gail, for doing an exceptional job during this, again, this very unusual, historic, strange time we're in with this pandemic and all that, and all the ways we're striving to be accessible to our public and serve the common interest of everyone and do a good job at it. And I think it's very applaudable. And I say bravo and happy holidays.
Thank you, Larry. Okay, Jeannie.
I just like to say ditto on Larry and Brian's comments. Excellent job.
Okay, thank you. Tatiana.
I'll keep it short. Thank you to everyone and happy holidays.
Thank you. And Martha.
Well, thank you so much. You discussed a lot of things to be very progressive for the library and onward and upward. And I know we had discussed before in the future, maybe for a bookmobile. And I saw some bookmobiles out in some other communities where they had sponsors from some car dealerships or different businesses, and
That
they
would be
had
nice.
it they had it on the back of their buses, and they had small vans, but they had it painted all over the place of who were the promoters of providing the service. And so
That's a
there's
great
always
idea.
there's more things that we can do. And I just think thank you so much to the staff that's bringing up so many good things. Thank you. And have a nice holiday.
Thank you, Martha. And with that, happy holidays, everyone. And could we get a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
I'll second.
Okay. And then all in favor, Brian,
Yes.
Josue,
Yes.
Rob,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
Jeannie,
Yes.
Tatiana,
Yes.
Martha,
Yes.
and yes for myself also. So this meeting is adjourned, and I will see you all next year.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Thank you.
holidays.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye all.
Okay.
Holidays, everyone. Take
All
care.
right.